welcome to your favorite cooking channel, Cooking with Abba. Today we're going to look at beans jollof, yes, and we're going to look at the second way to do beans jollof. I already shared one where I used the pre-cooked beans to do the jollof, and this one I'm going to cook the beans from start, and you're going to really love it. So tune in and then watch to the end. If you like it, do subscribe, do share, do comment, and leave us any questions you have as well. So yes, these are very simple, authentic Ghanaian beans jollof. Very heavy on your stomach, light on your pocket, tasty in your mouth, and super mwah mwah mwah. And you can have this for any occasion. So what you need, your main ingredient is your beans. You can use any beans of your preference: black beans, white beans, red beans, any beans of your preference. These are black eye beans or white beans or cowpeas, as you'd want to call it. So these are the quick cooking ones, and I washed it to clean it and to also get rid of the weevils. In Ghana, if you buy your beans from the local market, usually you may get a bit of it in. So my trick I do these days is to have a strainer which has enough holes, but not too big for the beans to pass through, but big enough for the weevils to come out. And I wash it severally to get rid of all of them till they are clean. Then I pre-soak it. When you soak this for even 10 minutes or 5 minutes, you're even good. It's better than not at all, unless you have no time at all. Because when you soak your beans for a while, it makes the cooking time less, and it makes the beans also softer, and it gets rid of a little bit of the gas. You know, some people eat beans and then they fat a lot. So sometimes it's good to, soak it a bit. The other ingredient I'll be needing for my beans jollof is rice, because it's jollof. And I'm also going to make use of gravy, which I already had in the fridge. It's also my channel. Some beef to make it smell nice. Some vegetables of my preference. I'm using carrots, I'm using onion, I'm using bell pepper, I'm using beetroot. And then I'm just frying some sausage and plantain on the side. And as well as some chicken. Yes, Cayenne jollof usually goes with chicken. And so I start off with my chicken, and then I add up my spices and my salt to it, and I add in a lot of water. For this chicken recipe, I needed the stock from the chicken to use for the jollof. That's why there's enough water around it, so you can get the chicken stock in there as well. So you need to cook up the chicken. Then as the chicken is cooking, you can start prepping for your oil, because this is a smaller quantity. This is just a pound of chicken. So yes, I tend for both sides to cook beautifully, because in Ghana, we love to chew our chicken to the bone. So when the bones are not well cooked and it gets bloody, chewing it becomes some way. So yes, I turned it for that side to also cook, and then I'd already prepared my oil at the side. So once the chicken was virtually cooked, I then warmed up the oil, heated it up, and then I transferred in my chicken for it to finish the cooking process. Yes, so this is just for you to get it cooked a bit. And these days, the chicken that we have, honestly, if you overly cook it, it will tear up, and then you won't get good results. So these days, when you realize your chicken is full, like asheshe, you can just move it in there. So usually about 5 or 10 minutes cooking in your water, then you transfer it into your oil, let it heat up properly, and then you finish the frying process in there. So I add in my beans, and then I add in extra water to cook it. These are quick rising or quick cooking beans. So you just need a short time, and then it's all pretty much well cooked. And I added it into the stock because the chicken is going to be my flavor, natural spicing in there. I'm not going to use any bouillon cubes in there. So as that is cooking, my chicken is also frying. So the beauty about this is, by the time the jollof is set, all the sides are also set, and you can serve your meal. Yeah, so you need about maybe 45 minutes, and everything is perfect to be eaten as well. So you just turn your chicken, and then make sure every side cooks. If you want to coat your chicken, you can also coat it in your flour before you put it in, or you can put your chicken in and sprinkle in some flour so that it doesn't get a sticky side. So these days, I usually prefer to just fry it raw, or to just sprinkle the flour in once I put the chicken. That's a preference you'd want to go. So once you're done frying your chicken, you can use it to fry your other sides, like your plantain and then your sausages. And as you're frying all of this, your beans is also cooking on the side with the stock in. So it's like everything is retained, all the nutrients are retained. And as you're cooking this, you need to also add in your salted beef, because your salted beef, if you don't cook it a bit before the rice goes in, you'd realize that the oily parts, it won't fully come out, and your beef will also be a bit salty in there. But when you put it in early, it goes to add up the salt to the beans as well. So I checked to see how the beans had cooked, because you need your beans to be fairly cooked before you add in the rice. Yes, if it's not fairly cooked, you finish cooking and then the rice will be done, but then the beans are something. So you need to be very careful about that. So once the beef goes in, it's also going to add the salt to it. So before I add in salt, I need to make sure that the beef is well done. If you're not using beef, you can add in salt during the process to make it tasty as well. And mind you, there's already salt in the stock we used. So you need to check your salt additions, else you're going to get a very salty meal as well. So yes, once the beans was cooked for me, you don't want it to be cooked peche peche, but once it's cooked, you can break it and realize that the inside is cooked. You just add in your gravy to it as well. So once that goes, I'm just going to stir everything up, and you realize I have enough stock in, but because of the quantity of rice I was cooking, I added in just a little bit, because I don't want the rice to be overly hard as well. In as much as you want your jollof to come out one, you don't want it to be uncooked as well. So the ingredients, quantities or measurements are in the description button below, which you can use as well. So once my plantain is also good browned, what you want usually the golden brown kind of look, you can just take them out, and your plantain, you can cut them in any shape, any sizes as you want. Just make sure that they are easy to eat as well. Yeah, so I just take them out of the oil. Then the last thing that goes into my oil is my sausages. Yes, that is of your preference. Yes, my oil was very much heated, and you know sausage, you don't really cook it for so long, so you can reduce the heat of the oil so that it cooks or it browns perfectly as well. So that's about the frying bit. Yes, if you don't like sausage, you can decide to omit it. If you want fish, you can fry a fish alongside as you're doing your jollof. So by the time you are done, your carbs are ready, your proteins are ready, your sides are ready as well. So yes, I just finished that part. Then you can just continue and focus on your jollof recipe. So once everything comes to boil and everything comes into play like this, the rice is perfect to go. But before you put in your rice, you can add in your vegetables so that it becomes a one pot jollof rice. Yes, and you realize the vegetables, I cut them very big. So like the carrots and then the beetroot and those ones, I cut them very big so that it doesn't become too soft or disappear once you are done. And then when I tasted it, I realized the salt was low. So I added in just a bit of salt at this point to help me get that perfect taste. Like I said, there's salt from the chicken steaming, there's salt from the beef. And so you need to be careful the quantity of salt you put in. And it's always good to taste it as you are going along. Now I use beetroot in because beetroot adds in more color to your food as well, which makes your jollof look beautiful. It also has its own nutrient or nutritional packages in there. And you know, carrots for your eyes and your skin and all those ones. The onion gives you that aromatics and that flavor as well. And your bell pepper also adds in a bit of color, flavor, and aromatics as well. So once all that goes in, I just add in the rice, give it a little stir, cover it up, and then let it cook up. Yes, for your jollof, you need a bit of heat at the start to make sure that the rice comes together. Yes, and as there is heat in, you need to be stirring it so that it doesn't stick to the basin of your pan. Yes, in as much as you want kanzo, you want legit kanzo, not the kanzo which is black, you can't chew or do anything with it. So once this goes in, I'll just be stirring for a while to make sure that all of it is well assembled and it's not sticking to the pan. That's the most important thing. You want legit base, but I don't want it to be like black kanzo. So once I stir and I realize the water has gone down enough, I just cover it with my cloth, my napkin or a towel. Is always better off than using rubber. Then I reduce the heat to the lowest minimum heat, because to get your jollof to cook perfectly, it's about retaining the heat in for a longer period. It is not about having high heat, because if you give it high heat, it will burn, but it's not well cooked. It's a slow steaming heat that really gives you good results or good looking jollof rice. So once I cover it for about 5-10 minutes, yes, you'd realize that the water goes way down. Then you can just stir so that everything in there mixes beautifully. So that you won't have rice at maybe the base and then the vegetables on top. No, you want it to all mix together. So when you share your food, everyone gets a fair share of everything in there. So yes, I did this twice. So I covered it up twice and it was done. So once I'm done, I'm just going to put some towel over it again, and then you continue. But you can also check to make sure that your rice is fairly cooked, so you know how long to keep it. And I'm going to retain that side that was stained by the oil. And once you are done with the stirring and you cover it, within 5-10 minutes, honestly, you should finish cooking, and you can dish it out, and you get beautiful kanzo. You see, this is a kind of kanzo you like, not the one which is black. So nothing goes to it. And this is very crispy. This is very crunchy. That's eating the part I love the most. Yeah. So when it comes to your jollof, these are the tips you need to know about making the perfect homemade beans jollof at home. And you can serve with any other sides of your choice. I hope you do like this jollof recipe. I hope you try it. I hope you give me your comments of how yours went along as well. Yes, and I've shared the ingredients and then the quantities in the description button. Do check it out and then try it at home as well. Lots of love for my team and I. Mwah.